Let's bring in former Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee Chair Michael Danby for more on this. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, what's your reaction to today's missile strike by Israel?
I think it was measured, balanced and very threatening for Iran, right next to the area where they have the Natanz nuclear facilities, and didn't harm civilians. It would be more threatening to Iran even if it's proved that these were drones, or drones even shot from within Iran, and it shows the ability of the Israelis to completely penetrate Iranian airspace, even with a small attack. Looks like it's kept the leverage of the strategic partnership with all of the Western allies from the defensive war that they waged against the Iranian mass missile attack on Israel, and I even told Joe Biden about it beforehand.
How concerned are you that this could now escalate into a broader regional conflict?
I don't think it will at this stage, Danica, because the Iranians seem to be playing it down. They're obviously very threatened by the fact that the Israelis can just almost without opposition penetrate their airspace. I think they were taken aback by the Israelis' ability with the allies to shoot down 99% of those missiles, and I think they'll starting to get frightened. The problem with all of this is Ayatollah Khamenei is 85. He believes in the end of the world from a Muslim Shia point of view, and he's becoming increasingly reckless. Let's hope the indications to date show that it won't spread.
So why then would Iran be playing this down? I mean, they've said that no such missile was launched, that they've managed to thwart this whole situation. What's the logistics behind that? They
don't want to be so embarrassed that they feel that they have to take further action. So therefore they play it down. They take the frightening threat that right next to their main nuclear facilities at Natanz in Isfahan, that the Israelis were able to get in with a drone, and drones seem to be much slower than ballistic missiles, don't they? So if the Israelis can do that without some Iranian ability to shoot it down, it shows that they're very vulnerable.
Yeah, that's
to sign their vulnerability, Danica.
Yeah, absolutely. That completely makes sense. We heard from DFAT this afternoon. They warned that the security situation could deteriorate quickly, and Australians have been urged to leave Israel if it is safe to do so. Was that an appropriate response under the circumstances?
Oh, I think DFATs give terrible political advice. Sometimes they advise Penny Wong to resume Australian taxpayers' money going to UNRWA, despite the fact that there's no finality to the UN investigation. I hope they've got a better coverage of this part of the world. I don't have a lot of faith in their coverage of the Middle East. And people are swimming, surfing and walking their dogs in Tel Aviv. I don't think they are afraid as DFAT would have them be afraid.
Yeah, absolutely. What does this mean, though, for Australia, in your view?
Well, the front page of The Australian has the answer to that. We need some drones. Our defence documents say that we should be spending billions on drones, and there's nothing being spent. Look at what happened in Ukraine. Look at what happened with Israel with these attacks from Iran. Look at what the Israelis have been able to do. For the defence of Australia, please, Richard Marles and Albo, wake up. Watch the news and switch Australian expenditure to drone technology.
Yeah, I mean, they made that big defence, big in inverted commas, big defence spend this week. Clearly hasn't really amounted to much. But do you think that the US could have been stronger in its support for Israel?
It certainly could have. President Biden, in my view, and his administration, have, by dropping the oil sanctions against Iran when he got in, have allowed the Chinese to buy Iranian oil, and therefore Iran to assume a treasury of $80 or $90 billion, which has funded the Houthis, Hamas and Hezbollah. So Western shipping is being blocked in the Red Sea, in the Suez Canal, by basically American indulgence of China buying Iranian oil. And this is a ridiculous situation. Don't give us sanctions on individuals, Joe Biden. Resume the oil sanctions that are mandated by Congress and cut off the source of these funds. That's a non-kinetic and non-warlike way of behaving, but it's a serious way of behaving and stopping all of these conflicts. The Hamas attack on October 7, Danica, the Houthis and the Hezbollah, it's all Iran. It's all Iran, and it's all being funded by Iran, and all of that is being funded by the failure of American sanctions. Joe Biden reimpose those sanctions. I'm afraid that President Trump's got an answer to this. He says when he's elected, he's going to drill, baby, drill. And American international oil supplies to various countries who need energy, India and China, are an alternative to Iran. So we need to cut off the Iranian source of money, and we need to provide them with an alternative source of energy.
Well, look, I mean, it's an interesting set of affairs, that's for sure. Michael Danby, really appreciate your insights. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.